Hello, I
Hello.
lost my green light. Where did it go? There we go. Okay. Phew. I was like,
Lost
what
in
happened?
space.
What happened?
That's what it
Jeez.
reminded me of.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good to see you, Strega,
So good
Lizzie.
to see you too. Oh, here, let me turn down my own phone. Hello, hello.
I'm really
How
looking
is?
forward to dropping in tonight. We'll just give
Sure,
everybody a
sure.
few minutes to,
Mhm.
straggle in. We know how this goes. It takes a little
Oh
time for
yeah.
everybody to show up. We got a few minutes to check in, so
Yes,
we'll
yes
let
we
people filter
do.
in and then we'll get started here. But
Mhm.
how you feeling on this full moon?
I'm feeling good. I'm a little sleepy, but that's okay. It is what it is, as they say. But it's Friday, so
Yeah.
once we finish off here, I'll make myself a big old bowl of pasta and put on something to just connect with and just enjoy my weekend.
Very nice. Very nice. I feel you. I'm kind of in a similar space. I'm definitely feeling sort of the desire to just rest more, slow
Mhm.
down, take it easy. And I also really feel this pull to sort of sink into nurturing energy. I'm really wanting to put
Maybe my
in
light.
focus on self-care and
Yes.
just kind of bringing in more attention to what
Mhm.
nourishes me. I think with that mama energy of Cancer front and center with this full
Mhm.
moon. And I see somebody is here. Welcome. We're just doing a few minutes of check-in, giving an opportunity for some people to show up. I do want to kind of give a little idea of what we'll be doing tonight, just so people know what to anticipate. But we'll give it a few minutes just so we have
Mhm.
people get an opportunity to sort of filter in. So welcome. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling like that full moon vibe when you just kind of want to slow down and take it easy and integrate. And I think this is going to be so good tonight. I'm really looking forward to what we're going to bring in tonight. It's just going to be so nourishing for this cycle we're in and what we're bringing forward and getting ready to move into Aquarius season where we're going to start to really experience that expansion that everybody's been waiting for, right? We've all
Yes.
been a lot of
Yes.
hurry up and wait, right?
Oh, so much. So it is, and I feel like that's always what happens around the holidays is, or after the holiday season. It is a lot of hurry up and wait,
Yep.
or okay, the holidays are over. It's like the snap. We went from having these moments of stepping away, or introspection, and then it's like boom, back to reality, and it's like you're supposed to, I think it's one of the more frustrating things the holidays is what we touched upon last time we met is, this expectation to perform a certain way or do certain things, and it continues the first week of the year. It's like, oh, okay, okay, get to the gym, okay, do this, okay, da, da, da. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, buddy, i don't I don't hold on.
I love it that Morning Star is saying green. It feels like everybody is feeling the green. Me and Lizzie were really feeling the green vibe for tonight. I'll just kind of speak to my reason for being drawn to the green. We have some very positively aspected Uranus action going on with this full moon coming in that is really activating the rebel inside in the best way, giving us the courage and the daring to make those bold moves, go and do stuff out of pocket, unlike we've ever done it before in brand new, innovative ways. And it's really going to open up new pathways for all of us. It's a cool energy, actually. And I'm super excited about it. I feel like it's a little precursor to Aquarius season because
Mm.
Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Okay. So it's all about innovation, doing things in brand new, different ways. But for me, green makes me think of Alfaba. And so I'm just really loving bringing that energy in. What moon phase was I born under? I don't know what moon phase I was born under, but I was born as a Libra. Libra to the fifth power, all in the first house of Aries. Libra sun, Libra rising, Libra Pluto, Libra Mars, and Libra Uranus. So, boom, there you have it right there. This is front and center astrology for me.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I feel inspired by the green, but also there's a lot of hard stuff coming forward in this lunar cycle too. A lot of opportunity for healing. So it makes me think of Anahata, the heart chakra. So yeah. Oh, yeah, I only know so much about astrology. I'm actually enrolled in a professional astrology course right now. So I'm going to be taking that to the next level. The current phase I'm in my progressive chart, though, is all Scorpio. All of that Libra energy is now in Scorpio. Now I got Scorpio rising, Scorpio moon, Scorpio Mars, Scorpio Venus. And what was the other one? There was one, Scorpio Mercury. So I'm definitely in an interesting energy with this particular. I actually had my sun sign move into Sagittarius too. So that's going to be with me for like the next 30 years. I'm going to be operating out of this energy. So it's kind of an interesting big shift for me. Big shift for me.
Yeah. That sounds like it. Gee whiz.
Dave, I can't remember the name of it, but I will put it in the comments and pin it in the comments when I go and look it up. I like literally just signed up for it the other day. I signed up for it online. So I will do that later. If you come back to this video afterwards and you look in the pinned comments, you can check it out. That I'm excited. It brings in like a therapeutic aspect as well. I'm like self-taught in astrology, but I really want to take it to a much deeper level and really get into some more intensive chart work and all of that. So excited to bring that in. It's perfect with this Uranus cycle, doing something very different, doing something a little out there, filtering out into the cosmos. You're most welcome, Dave. No problem. Okay, I think we should just get started, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
We got people here. Thank you so much to everybody who's shown up. The replay will remain up, of course. Look forward to the engagement in the chat. We always welcome active conversation, participation.
Sure.
This is a healing circle. We are going to have a lot of stuff going on. We are going to be lighting a candle to hold the intention. What we're calling in as a collective that's gathered here in this circle. We're also going to call in some protection, really ground the space. You're holding the energy as you're here. That applies whether you make the live or you come for the replay, okay? That being said, you don't have a candle with you right now. You want to carry this energy forward with us. Light a candle later. Light a candle later tonight. Light a candle tomorrow. It will still call your energy in, and we'll build this energy as a collective together. And it's a really cool experience. We've done this before, and it's always nice just the way the energy comes in. So we're going to open up first with kind of setting the intention for the circle. Then we're going to go into some talk about the astrology while we also have a conversation with the cards. We're going to do like a little collective read for this lunar cycle just to see what's coming in. This lunar cycle is going to be with us until that new moon in Aquarius on January 21st. Okay, so we've got some time to work for this, work with this energy. And then after we do the read and the check-in on the astrology, we will be diving into some Reiki. I will announce before we do all this, not everybody wants to receive distance Reiki. It's something that you have to want to receive. So I will announce it. So those of you who do not wish to receive Reiki can temporarily step away from the screen. And then after we go into the Reiki, we will have the wonderful Miss Lizzie lead us through one of are fabulous meditations to really anchor everything in with this lunar energy. So we're going to do some manifesting together, some vision setting together. We're going to do some healing work together and get some insight. And it's going to be a really positive experience. I will provide timestamps, okay? But please be patient. It takes time to get those up after something has aired live, because I can't put anything up until it has aired live. So if you don't want to deal with all these different sections, you can always come back and watch the replay. It's up to you. Anything else you want to add, Miss Lizzie?
No, yes, actually. So I will be bringing a deity in tonight. My patron goddess is Persephone. So and I understand that certain people practicing the deities that they work with, there's very hard rules. I respect that. If you do not want to take this journey with myself and Persephone this evening, before I start the meditation, please disconnect. Because as I said, I understand. I work with deity myself. And so, no, there are some deities that it's just a no-go. And that, or perhaps you're in a practice that doesn't allow you to commune with other deity, that happens as well. So we will announce prior to going into the meditation. It'll be pretty obvious that I'm getting ready to lead us into the meditation. So if that's where you're at, go ahead and disconnect. But if it's all systems go, I'm really excited to take you where we're going to go.
All right. I'm excited too. So should we go ahead and dive right in and
do this?
Get everybody in the right mind frame?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put down the timestamp as 12:30 for creating the space, casting the circle. And this is a circle that, it's protected whether you choose to leave early or not. Don't worry about it, all right? So you don't have to have any concerns about that, like, oh no, we're in circles, so now we have to stay the long haul, all right? I just really want to set the intention for this circle so we can have a quality atmosphere while we do this work together. And I'm actually just temporarily going to block the comments from my view. They're still open, but when I do this kind of work, I don't like to be distracted by the comments, okay? So welcome. So happy to have you here, have you joining us on this Cancer full moon. It is the wolf moon. And I do hope we can bring in a segment maybe to end tonight with some howls would be kind of nice, I feel like we need to howl to the moon a little bit and bring in that wolf medicine, which is the Pathfinder. And the Pathfinder helps us pick up the scent of the trail, get in touch with our intuition, feel our way through. And that's kind of what we're working with this particular lunar cycle, intuition, front and center. It's really forward with this lunar cycle. So important to listen to your intuition, because there's going to be this big tug between the head and the heart. So in order to find the place in the middle, you're really going to have to sink into yourself and listen deeply and feel your way through. And Wolf Ally can really help you navigate that terrain. We have some other navigational assistance from Fixed Star Canopus too, but we'll get into that. For now, I want you to just find your way into this space, wherever you're seated, get yourself in a nice, comfortable position. If it's possible for you to have your feet planted firmly on the floor, that's wonderful. If not, that's okay too. There are no rules in this space, all right? Come as you are. We're all here to co-create together. You are all welcome here, no matter what your faith is, no matter what path you walk. This is really a space that is safe for everybody to come in and experience the magic that's just inherent in nature, that's inherent in us and all around us. So do welcome, but also understand that this is on the hedge. Me and Strega Lizzie are on the path of the witch. So you are going to hear this kind of influence coming in. But that being said, we're a very all-inclusive environment, and you are welcome here. And you do not have to take part in anything you're not comfortable taking part in. We will not be offended, okay? And just take from it what you can, toss aside the rest. Listen to your own heart, your intuition as your guide, all right? So just settle in now, close your eyes. Let's take some deep cleansing breaths, bringing that nurturing prana in, that enlivening life force, and breathing all the way down to the bottom of your belly so you can get that tummy to rise and fill with air. And then just let it all go. Just releasing any tension that has gathered through the day, anything that was going on in your life before you got here, anything that's been happening over the holidays that's still kind of lingering in your space. And take another deep breath, deep cleansing breath, all the way down to your root at the base of your spine. And again, just let it all go. And one more deep cleansing breath. Feel your belly rise. And let it all release and just feel all the tension slip away from you and fall to the floor and seep into that floor beneath you, imagining it just kind of seeping in to the earth to be absorbed, for that energy to be transmuted. Now I want you to envision at the base of your spine, right at the tip of your tailbone, a glowing red orb. And you can see this glowing red orb pulsating. I want you to take just a moment and notice the quality of the light. Is it bright? Are there areas where it's dimmed? Are there any dark colors infiltrating that red orb, or any qualities that you're noticing that particularly stand out to you? Don't try to make any sense of it just now, but just kind of make a mental note of it. And just practice taking a few deep breaths right into this red orb that you have at the base of your spine. And with each breath, that orb grows a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter. Now envision coming down from this orb roots, like roots of a grand old growth oak tree, strong roots. And envision them growing down, creeping toward the floor beneath you, breaking through the floor into the foundation of your home or the ground beneath you if you're outside on your phone. Deeper still into the top layers of soil, the nutrient-rich layers where the earthworms are aerating the ground so new things can grow. Deeper still into the rocky adobe layers. Deeper still into the water template, that water energy that is the essence of this Cancer moon that we have, holding that nurturing mama energy for all of us to kiss all the boo-boos and make them better. There's this real beautiful energy like that coming forward with this full moons. Just, I want you to take some time, just a moment. You're just taking a nice deep breath in this watery layer of the earth. And feel the way that nourishes you, the way it soothes, the way it calms. Deeper still into the really rocky, cavernous layers of the earth where the crystal formations are found. And there's limpid pools that are bubbling and brewing because they're close to the Earth's core's heat. Deeper still into the layer of Earth where it is just complete darkness and so insulated you can hear not a sound. Just take some deep breaths in this space, resting in the darkness, and see if you can open your mind to see the beauty in the darkness. So often we hear the dark referred to as something negative. Let's understand that the darkness is actually the place of all potentiality. It's where stars are birthed. It's where the light gets through. And right now, as we're preparing in this lunar cycle to get ready for Aquarius season, who is represented by the star in tarot, we are still moving through those last trailing bits of dark, and we are heading toward that star, that North Star. The North Star in Taurus, which is the North Node, where we activate our destiny, when we get to see what the journey has all been worth, when we understand our value, what can't be compromised, and we create our new life, our way forward from that place, and find ourselves deeply rewarded with that Empress energy. And from that, all new directions are born, all beauty is birthed in our world. Take a moment just now and say, yes, I'm ready to claim that to yourself, without needing to have any definition for what that new reality is going to look like, just the openness to welcome it in. And travel deeper with your roots. And as you do, I want you to start noticing this heat that is rising. It's beginning to rise up through your roots. You're starting to feel this root activation right at the tip of your spine. You're feeling the heat build there, and it's causing that orb you have at your root to almost fill with that same liquid lava fire that's at its core. And this heat continues to intensify as you plunge your roots into the core of the earth and just drink up that essence all the way back up through all the layers of earth, all the way up into your root, and just let that energy flood your body, filling your root glowing, pulsating with magma, that transformational cauldron essence of the earth. And from this place, you will transform your life moving through this lunar cycle from the ground up. You're working with that foundational Saturn energy, especially in this Mercury retrograde. The Capricorn is hosting. It's the only Mercury retrograde we've had in this cycle that began last year that is actually both beginning and ending in Capricorn. So it's very significant. We're being given an opportunity to lay our new foundation for the future. So it begins here within your root. What you're rooting in this space, you're holding with us now. All of you, we're all collectively creating this space together. And go ahead and let that energy just fill your entire body, just bringing that earth essence up through your whole body and letting it kind of clear and cleanse away any areas where you're sensing stuck energy. Just trust your intuition. You'll be able to feel it out. Again, play in this space. There are no wrong impressions. I really want you to experience the empowerment of trusting your own internal wisdom, your own intuition, your own voice, and how what we're doing tonight is speaking to you individually. And just send any energy that you find back down your roots to be transformed in that core, to be composted and returned to you with the intention that it is gifted back to you from the earth as renewable energy to serve forward. Now I'd like you to put your attention right at your solar plexus, right at the place on the front of your body where your rib cage meets. And see a golden light there, a golden orb, and allow that earth energy to fill that golden orb and make it glow more brightly, pulsating with that transformational fire. Keep building this energy with your breath and just listen for a moment before you actually carry it out. We're going to take a nice big inhale together. And when we do, on the exhale, we're going to exhale forcefully. When you exhale forcefully, envision this light spreading out like a brilliant sun surrounding you on all sides, above you, below you, before you, and behind you. And envision this light growing, growing, and growing so it ends up encompassing not only this whole collective gathered here tonight, but the entire universe. Stretch your mind. We're going way out there with Uranus. Okay, so let's all hold this energy together and take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Calling on the elemental earth to provide solidity, grounding, and strength to this circle. Let it provide us what we need to create a strong foundation to open the new cycle upon and to grow beautiful things in our lives. Fortify this space with your strength. Stone people watching over vigilantly so that only the highest vibration energies are allowed entry within this space. All other lower vibrational energies are deflected and returned to sender, creating sanctity in this space. Hold it down for us, Earth. Let this circle remain open, but yet unbroken, so that people can come and go as they need to. And even as they leave this space, this protection is still carried out around them in their auric field. And that any people coming in for the replay can also come and go within this space and receive and know that they are held in strength and with the solidity of the earth. Thank you. Calling in the elemental air to open this space for the inspiration that needs to come in that will help inspire our next steps as we move into the new cycle. Bring in the messages that we most need to hear from spirit and what we most need to hear from our higher selves within this space, so that we can have the vision hatched in our consciousness and we can begin to create from this place. Thank you for your presence. Calling in the element of fire to surround this space with a circle of violet flame. Give us what we need to transform any lower vibrational energy in our lives, within ourselves, any habits that we have that are holding us back, ways we sabotage ourselves. Allow us to ignite this inner fire of change within us and let it come through every action we take as we move through this lunar cycle, aligning us with our purpose and our passion. Thank you. calling in the elemental of the evening, the element of water. Let us be nurtured in this space. Let us be purified in this space. Let us tap into that place within us where we can return to the source that we all come from. Help us tap into the love within our hearts, the compassion for the challenging times we've all been moving through as we have been doing the work of the Scorpio South Node, integrating our shadow, Pluto as our guide. We still have 6 months to go, okay? 6 months to go until July. When the energy shifts into Libra, and we're being prepared to really cleanse our relationship dynamics of any aspects that keep us operating out of that place within ourselves that does not know how to welcome the love. So please cleanse us in this thing that is unlike love, able to receive the bounty and the blessing that wants to come in for us. Please cleanse us of anything in us that could interfere with the effectiveness of the work we are doing in Circle tonight. Thank you. Calling in spirit, Mother Goddess, Father God, and how that one energy through all is expressed through us through our higher consciousness, whatever label you may give it. But tonight I'm calling in Danu, she who pours the waters of life upon the land and from which all things grow into beautiful, abundant fruition, invoking that Empress energy within all of us in our lives, where we can grow beautiful new things, where we can birth new beginnings, where we can be open to receive our bounty, and we can do so in a place of receptivity, in our hearts, in our empowerment, in our strength, in our worth, knowing our value. And I'm really feeling called to bring in He of the Wildwood because we are working with that Uranus energy. So help us activate that wild part of ourselves, that feral part of ourselves, the instinctual part of ourselves that knows how to intuit the next steps, that has the bravery to make the bold moves, to go after the destiny we want to claim, to find the courage within ourselves to tap into that wild nature and just let ourselves be a little bit free as we move into this new cycle of all the shoulds. So we can trust our internal voice and where it's guiding us now. Help us align with that in this space. And thank you so much for your guidance and for the directive and the supportive energy that you will bring in for each of us in this space in moving our lives forward to the next level of greater potential. Okay. You can go ahead and just wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit. You can flutter your eyes open when you're ready. Come in and join us in this space. I'm going to put on the comments. Ooh, I love this. I love this. Feeling this. I love the energy that people are bringing in to help hold it down. Morning Star has 3 wolf hybrids.
Ooh.
Really cool. Okay, so we got this space up. It feels good. I also want to just kind of call in some um, smoke cleansing, just to further bring some sacredness into the space. I'm using sage and copal. Sage is very protective. It's also very special to me just because of my particular ancestry. So honoring my Comanche ancestry, but also this copal is very much not only purifying, but it helps align with the higher vibration of love. So just sending this all your way, little cleansing, take in this essence to help us clear the air. Communication, some kind of challenging communications are going to be a big, important piece of this astrological cycle that we're going to be moving through. And I also just want to bring in this cleansing because we're going to open up with lighting the candle so we can all bring our energy in this way as well. And like
remember
I was
to
saying
stay
at the beginning,
hydrated too.
Yeah, stay hydrated. It's true. It's good. I need to get some hydration in myself. All right, that feels good. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and just cleanse this candle that I'm gonna be using to represent the collective. All of your energy is coming in with this candle that I'm lighting. If you want to hold the energy down and you don't have a candle and you'd like to hold it down in your own home, working through this lunar cycle, you can always light a candle later. All right. Your energy will still be brought into the mix. It's here now, or whenever you happen to do this, your energy is brought in. All right. And I'm choosing yellow because yellow is a color that's very much used in candle magic for invoking intuition, psychic insight. It also helps facilitate communication from spirit. 2023 is a 7-year in numerology, and so we are definitely working with this energy of spirituality front and center this year. It's going to be a big focus. Everybody is going to be kind of navigating their own spiritual paths. I mean, and that applies even for people who don't necessarily have any spiritual beliefs per se. Maybe they're just kind of focused more on personal growth and raising their consciousness. But, these kind of things are really going to be a focus this year. There's also going to be a lot of synchronicity coming in this year, kind of the divine play in life when things feel kismet. Also, a lot of soul family coming in, a lot of things coming back around the bend, sometimes reunion with soulmates, and these can be people you've known before and lost touch with, or they can be people that you feel like maybe you had a connection with in a past life, or you just meet these people and you feel this real strong sense of soul connection. So I'm going to first just put a little Reiki energy into this candle, all right? And Lizzie, maybe you want to add something at this part while I'm just getting this candle charged up, some insights you want to give to the group gathered?
So I know for myself, what's coming through as far as like my focus is honoring truth, honoring our truth. And I feel so like I cringe when I say that because I feel like it's one of those thrown around terms, where someone's like, I'm just honoring my truth. No, you're just a bitch. Sorry, not sorry. And this ties into, this is the reason that I'm doing the meditation tonight, and why I'm doing the meditation tonight is I think there are times where we get so wrapped up in the journey that we don't take that step back and reflect on where we've come and what is our truth. Like, what is our self? What is that? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that sound like? What does it taste like? And yes, it should have a flavor. It should taste good, and it should not be hard to swallow. That's all I got. Thank you. But
I think
that's
honoring your truth is a big part of it. You know, again, you know, well, let's see what Lizzie has to say to you about this since you brought that piece in, Lizzie.
is truth dogma or doctrine based, or is it experience based? Whew, that's a very multi-layered question. Um, I don't like dogma. I don't like dogmatic views. It's something that I don't jive with at all. Um, Nothing in our world is dogmatic. And I think that dogmas and dogmatic thinking is a direct result of colonialism and capitalism, because within those confines, you have to have an almost unyielding dogmatic loyalty to that process and to its tenets. And I know for myself, I like the room. I like the room to roam. I also feel that experience is one of those subjective things, because you and I could literally be having the same moment, but what we are experiencing, what we're taking in, is very, very different. Um, for example, I am a big horror movie fan, and I watched the horror film Smile over the weekend. And really, what it was just this scary movie about trauma and the perpetuating of trauma. And that within our attempt to not pass on trauma to other people by healing our own trauma, we may be the inflictor of trauma. And it's a very fine line that we walk. How does that fall into dogma and doctrine and experience? Because it all is a very fine line. You know, I would say that I'm pagan, and I would say that my beliefs are based within a pagan background, but I have also been confronted with some, I don't want to say harsh truths, but some conflicting views about what is paganism, what is modern day paganism, what is neo paganism, what does that mean for me, and what does that mean for my practice. Um, I hope that makes sense. God, I hope that made sense. I just, it made sense to me, and I just hope it makes sense to you. I think that all three of those things can dogma. I'm not a dogma person. No, thank you. Um, Doctrine, again, you drive so fine line, so fine line, because within a doctrine, you can become extremely dogmatic. And you can also become extremely dogmatic within your experiences. You know, by me telling somebody, well, no, because I had that experience, that is your experience. And we all know that that's not true. A man is not going to have the same experience as a woman, and a woman is not going to have the same experience as a man. Me, as a Caucasian woman, is not going to have the same experiences as a Black woman or Indigenous woman or a Black man, and vice versa. And I have to understand that. And I also have to understand that, again, experience is subjective. And just because I haven't had that experience doesn't mean that it's not real for somebody else. Again, I hope that makes sense. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I think you expressed that beautifully.
Thank you.
My take on it is I'm a Discordian witch. Okay, so From my perspective, there is no such thing as absolute truth, because truth is totally subjective, and it is dependent on what window in the grid of reality you're looking at it through. The most you can find are other people that are looking through the same grid, window in the grid as you. And so you identify with each other, but truth is based on your personal experiences. I believe really forms the basis of your truth. And I believe that what can be true for you can be absolutely, positively false for another person. And that doesn't diminish your truth in any way, shape, or form. So I think truth is the place where you arrive, where you know that you are in integrity within yourself. And it forms your convictions and the basis of all actions you take or aspire to live up to in your earth walk. But I think that that's one thing where people really struggle with. Relationships, that can cause a lot of division. And we're definitely at a place in our society where we really need to start working on overcoming the divisory factors that are in play. And every bit of this has to do with respecting each other's truths, because what's true for me is not true for you. And when you feel like you have to force somebody to come around to your way of viewing things, your way of seeing things, you're really doing a disservice, because you're disrespecting that person's truth. And automatically how, kind of riled up you can get if somebody disrespects your truth. So from this standpoint, there's no way for us to create pathways to unity. And if we look at every tradition, pretty much any spiritual tradition you have, just speaking from a spiritual perspective, they pretty much believe that it's all one energy. They just have different names for that one energy. So instead of us being on so many different pages and fueling the division, can we get the fuck over it? Can we get over it? And can we look instead at the connection point that we all can agree that there's this one mysterious energy that's in every single thing in all of existence? Scientists will say that it's just atoms, okay? It's just positive, negative, and neutral energy swirling about. Call it whatever you want. It's all the same trip. It's all the same energy. This is my perspective, okay, on my path. And I am on a fairy path, the third road tradition, okay? But it is a very wide open, make it your own path, and very Discordian in nature. So this is my view. I believe in true freedom. I feel that we have to let people live from their truths, that we shouldn't disrespect another's truth. Now, you can get into really loaded conversation on this, right?
Yeah.
It's a really deep topic, because some people's truth is horrendous, just in the effect that it has on society as a whole, the way that it infringes upon other people's freedom. Okay, so that's way too much to unpack tonight.
It sure is.
It's too much to unpack tonight, but I do feel that that's what it boils down to at the heart of it, right? It's about what you feel inside of yourself is in integrity, okay? So truth is defined by the self. And that's why we can't really look to other people to define truth for us. It's only something we can define for ourselves. That's right. That's my take. That's my hot take on it. So I got this candle dressed, all right, and I just want to let you all know what goodies I put in it, so it can help hold down the energy. And if any of you happen to have any of these goodies at home when you light your candle and you feel like bringing them in to just further, give a boost, reinforce the intention, I love that. I think that's awesome. So I dressed the candle with a rose vanilla oil. And the rose is to bring in that Venusian influence, that higher vibration of love. It's also to bring in a lot of comfort and soothing energy, to help us land into that heart space, to help invoke that water energy, that mama energy that's coming in with Cancer, that Empress energy. And just to give a lot of comfort as we move through this time, and having what will be some challenging communications, but healing communications, So remembering to have compassion for the other person that's possible from us. The vanilla is called sensuality, because I think it's really time for us to move out of the heaviness, the pain cycle, and let's bring in a little bit more sensuality, a little bit more pleasure, a little bit more enjoyment, a little more of the sweet taste in life. And then I have yarrow, which is an herb that's very much associated with the past, but in a sort of like nostalgic way, a way that can help us tap into more of the sweet memories of the past and also help us to remember the beautiful things that have happened in our past that can sort of formulate the foundation of communications we go into in difficult relationship dynamics as we move through this cycle. It also brings in luck, okay? It brings in spiritual assistance, it brings in spiritual communication and guidance. And it's also very much associated with bringing in like blessing energy, prosperous energy. We got bay leaf, okay? Bay leaf to chase away all the negativity, turn away any of that energy others have put on us, turn away any of that covetous energy, that, malokyo, evil eye kind of energy, just warding for that, and also bringing in a lot of prosperity, financial bless up, more good luck energy coming in there. And then we got sweet myrrh, all right, bringing in more of that sweetness to temper what has been bitter. It's also very protective and it sort of elevates the energy, helps us invoke our sovereignty. And rose geranium, which is aligned with the planet Venus. So it invokes all of Venus's qualities of love and beauty, and also have to bring in both Taurus, okay, for the Taurus North Node. Taurus is ruled by Venus, as is Libra. So invoking that it's going to help us find that place of balance within ourselves, that it's going to help bring about the balance within our relationships, that it will help us balance our karma and rise up out of that Scorpio South Node into the Taurus North Node and activate our destiny, all right? And to have spiritual guidance, insight, intuition guiding us the whole way. So if you all will just kind of hold this intention with me now, and if you have your candle, it'd be a wonderful time for you to light it, but I'm going to light it and just say a blessing for all of us with this, okay? I light this candle on behalf of the collective that is gathered here, the collective that will view this healing circle later on the replay. I light this candle to hold this intention for this collective who is ready to rise up out of the challenges of the past, ready to emerge from a time of darkness, a time of integrating the shadow, to prepare for the growing light that will be coming into full radiance in the spring when we break through that ground, just like Persephone as core, and we rise up into that Empress energy where all beautiful things come to bloom and grow into fruition. Please, Spirit, give us guidance as we move forward on our paths, illuminate our paths for us, help us to know the best seeds to plant that lead to our garden of earthly delight, that bring us the path of pleasure, the path of fulfillment, the path of joy, so that we can remember, despite all the bitterness that we have been through, that there are still sweet tastes to savor in this life. Help us be bold and daring as we choose to follow our heart and where it guides us to go. Help us to invoke courage that allows us to take the risks necessary to step into our full potential and to claim the destiny that is marked for us. Give us a rise of confidence, help us glow up and be able to share that light within during this time preparing for the spring so we can cast it out into the world around us, and so it can help make everything to bloom. We've grasped the thorns, ready for the rose. We're ready for the sweetness of the. Grant us the wisdom to know how we can best tend the garden of our destiny. Ashe. Amen.
Let it be.
So mote it be. And that's just going to hold it down. I'm going to be doing workings with that candle, you know, letting that energy continue to build until it's all burned down, and bringing in that positivity for all of us. All right.
Right.
I'm getting out my tarot cards. So we can do a little conversation with the cards as we dive into the astrology that's in play. I did take some notes so I wouldn't forget anything. I didn't want to miss anything, because there's, you know, a lot going on right now. I feel like we're at a really pivotal juncture. We're moving out of the crossroads and we're stepping in to that full energy, right? It's like a brand new cycle, whole new path, very much so. Once we hit July, the nodes are going to change. You know, those nodes of fate and destiny are going to change. We're no longer going to have a north node Taurus. Hopefully by then we will have all done the work, gotten the memo, and we'll be standing up for ourselves, standing up for what we believe in. We'll know what we bring to the table. We'll know our worth and what we value at the end of the day, and we'll be living from that place. We're also going to see a lot of manifestation of our visions that we nurture, you know, as we step into that Taurus North node. But then once we hit July, it all changes, right? And we have the retrograde motion goes into Aries as the north node and Libra as the south node, right? And it's really interesting because all last year, right? All last year we had the opposition between Mars and Venus going on. Okay, so this dance continues. This dance continues, but that magician energy, which is what Aries is represented by in the tarot, is all about like taking the initiative. Look at this. Will you look at this? Bottom of the deck energy, 10 of Pentacles, okay? This is what we're stepping into. 10 of Pentacles, knowing our worth, knowing our value, all right? Being able to stand on it. This is like big time legacy energy. What you set in motion at this time, what you fuel with your intentions, be very mindful. It's one of those things like, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. You know, now is a time to really use this retrograde energy. Well, we got Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and that's Saturn, you know, Saturn taskmaster, you know, that kind of holds our feet to the fire, demands that we show up and do the work. Now it's really the time to do a systems check. Look at the nuts and bolts. Where do you need to strengthen integrity? Where are you not standing in your truth? You know, where do you need to make adjustments? Where do you need to even change your daily routine? So it really provides the framework for what you're looking to create and call into your life. But look, it offers so much prosperity, so much abundance. You know, those of you that do this work, you're going to enter a very prosperous lucky cycle. And it's real big, blessed energy. Oh, but right behind it, you got to watch out for that old tricky devil, old Scratch. Old Scratch is always around, okay? And it's very interesting. I just have to, it's very interesting because in this particular devil card, you know, they're sitting on a treasure chest. And, you know, there's like the woman is wearing a mask, you know, she's kind of in costume. She's concealing herself, you know, and then the devil is the one holding the coins. I feel this is really speaking to relationship dynamics right now. And it's also Capricorn energy, the devil, right? And this is kind of like what we're looking at as we're in this retrograde cycle is the ways that we compromise ourselves in relationships by not living out of our truth, like you were saying, right? Like wearing masks or seeing what we can get out of this situation, how can we work the situation, or allowing other people to work us and choosing to take a view where we're kind of like turning a blind eye to it rather than calling it out, calling it for what it is, having the difficult conversations, doing the tough work. All right.
Yeah.
But we see here where these kind of games are going on in relationship dynamics. No one's free. They're both chained. No one's free. So this is really about, working through these kind of unhealthy, toxic behaviors. And also in terms of finances and our work, the work we're doing to earn our daily bread, to make a living, is it aligned with our integrity? Do we feel good about the work we're doing? Is there a way we need to shift that up? Is there a way that we need to move in a different direction with that? So this coming in very strong, but if we do this work, we transform that energy. It's just too perfect. Look who comes in. Hello, Empress. Hello, Empress. Okay, and I love that she makes an appearance right now. I'm actually going to take her out of this deck, all right? And I'm going to let her stand right here with the candle because I have an idea for how you can further root the work and the focus for this cycle for the collective. If you have a tarot deck, take that Empress and put it on an altar, or put it on a shelf, and put it upright, all right? If you don't have a tarot, draw a picture or something that, some kind of symbol that you represents that Empress energy. And use it as a daily energy gauge meditation to move through the cycle. When you feel like you're not in your sovereignty, when you feel like or when you feel like you're blocking creative energy or you're having trouble manifesting, take that Empress card on your altar and turn it upside down. So it will serve as a visual reminder to you to reflect on what it is that you need to shift inside of yourself, what it is you need to change, what it is you need to transform so you can prepare yourself to step into that energy. And then when you make your course correction, you make your adjustments, then turn it back right back up. It's just something that can serve as like a visual cue for you of the work that's in store. So that's kind of a big, bold way to come out right off the bat. Interesting.
Bottom of my deck energy is the Emperor. Hi, bud.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And it's funny. I don't know if you can see. No, this light, of course, is gonna be what it is. Okay, there we go. See, he's got a little box. I don't know if y'all can see the box, but he's got a box with a candle. And I just need to point out that I have a little box with a candle for our ritual. So, hi, hello. Also, Emperor is Aries. Hi, I'm your resident Aries. How's it going? I want to give a warning though, because emperors can also be tyrants. Emperors can also be extremely unfair. This is both a warning and a message to someone out there. Sometimes you need to be brutal. And sometimes you need to realize that you need to back the fuck off. But I do feel like someone out here listening needs to hear the message that you need to put your foot down. You need to be strong. Again, it just ties back into this is your truth. This is your kingdom. This is your empire. Excuse me, because it's not a kingdom, baby. It's a fucking empire. And this is your empire, and this is your legacy, and this is your life. Are we really living it? I know, because I'm going through that right now. So I feel you. Thank you. Yes, hi. But someone also needs to know that you got to be a little forgiving sometimes too, because a good emperor knows how to show that mercy. And I'm totally picking up the whole King Solomon and the mothers and the whole baby. And okay, fine, we'll split the baby. Oh, dear God, no, don't kill my baby. And the other mom was like, okay, cool. And he was like, no, damn you, caught your ass. So just remember, it's always give and take, baby, give and take.
I love that you brought that in too, because it's true. The Emperor is Aries card, and Aries is going to take over North Node. And it's so funny because it's almost like that Taurus North Node is passing the baton onto Libra because the Empress is Taurus and Libra.
Yeah.
And Libra represents the South Node for next year, starting, well, for this year, not next year. I'm still in 2022 is still trying to hang on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we are dealing with still a little bit of unfinished business. And hello, Luana. It's nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. We're actually officially live tonight. I do a lot of pre-record premiere live, so we are definitely here. We're live and out loud, and we can see all your comments and interact with you. So thank you so much for coming and joining us. It's so funny because right as you brought in the Emperor piece, and I stopped shuffling, look who's on the bottom of the deck. The Magician, which is Aries card. Okay, so it's all about taking that initiation. And while we're at it, let's just touch on a bit of the astrology for this because it's important, okay? Right now, we are currently in a Mercury retrograde. We're going to go out of that Mercury retrograde on the 18th. We started this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and it finishes in Capricorn, so that's significant. This is actually a really positive Mercury retrograde because of the other energies that involve. There's a lot of supportive influences coming in to facilitate healing communication and mending rifts in relationships or connections where things kind of went south. So this is very positive influence. You're not going to feel as much heaviness around this Mercury retrograde. There will be times that you are processing things where maybe you do have an emotional release, but in general, it's about finding the way through. And with the influences that we have going on with Uranus in this cycle, we have this full moon is opposite the Mercury retrograde. All right. So that's a challenging influence with that opposition. And basically, what it means is it's going to throw us into that place of head versus heart. Do I do this? Or do I do that? You know, do I listen to what's logical, what makes sense on an intellectual level? Do I allow what my experiences were in the past to totally define this situation and how to move forward? Or do I listen to my heart? Because a lot of you are going to find this kind of disconnect where you're like, I can't believe I'm actually considering like making up with this person. You know, it could be like, this person really did me dirty. And I'm actually considering like, you know, hearing them out and working through it. And that might really shock you. But I want to say this, be open-minded with Uranus energy in play, that there could be some surprising twist to this. And that being said, if this is an old lover that comes back, and there will be a lot of old people coming back, as there is in any retrograde cycle, okay? But in particular with this one, because we really are aligning with soul family this year. We're aligning with the people who are our soulmates. And that doesn't just apply romantically. Soulmates can also be your friends, they can be mentors. There's many different forms that soulmate can take. So some of these people you need to come back around the bend because with the passage of time, you've grown, and now there's an opportunity to enter into connection in a way you weren't able to before, or a way to close that maybe has you taking your power back. If you felt like you lost your power in that situation in the past, to balance out, or just the truth that was left unsaid, saying the things that were never said that he said is something that's really going to come forward this cycle. But you have to understand that with all the time that's passed, some of these connections, you've grown, right? You've had a transformation. So you can't look at this person through past eyes either. And it's also not saying that you have to enter into the same kind of relationship dynamic you have with this person in the past. So maybe they were a lover, they come back around. You don't have to automatically, you know, get set in this place that's automatically assuming like, oh, we're going to reignite our old flame with each other. Maybe not. Maybe you become friends. Maybe it's just an opportunity to have a really important discussion and something's illuminated for you, and you finally have that closure. You get to hear those words you never got to hear, or you get to make that apology that you never got to make. So be really open-minded with Uranus energy, because there is this like curveball surprise. But because we have Uranus is sextile the full moon, it actually works out very beneficially. This is like a blessing aspect. It's like wild blessing. Like unexpected happens and something's pulled off, and you don't know how the hell it happened, because you thought for sure this thing was done and dusted, or there was no way to have resolution or go forward. Or maybe you'd given up on love and it was 1:11 on the clock when I said that. So we're coming into alignment.
I thought
really blessed up new beginnings. Okay, so be ready for some magic, and be ready to not be able to control it, not be able to like call out the storyline, because there's going to be a lot of unexpected stuff that comes through. I know you had a card. I know you have something you want to add.
I do. And I was shuffling, and it kept coming out, and I kept tucking it back in, and then finally it like turned itself over in the deck and was like, I will be heard. It's the Page of Wands. And I love this interpretation of the Page of Wands because we show him as a performer, as a mask wearer. And again, here we are. It is about no longer having to do that. It is about no longer having to perform for anyone except yourself. And live the life that you want to live. It's a big theme. And it's a big theme coming for me this year too. Like I on New Year's Eve I took a journey with some magic mushrooms, and that's how I rang in my new year. Was being this feral sort of lovely person, but it was about, okay, what performance do I want to do for myself? Because one of my favorite Shakespeare quotes is from Macbeth that talks about life is a stage. And yes, I know that the term gets thrown around a lot, that whole like, what are you, the main character? Do you have main character syndrome? Fuck yeah, I'm the main character of my goddamn life. Always. I always am the main fucking character. Everyone else is just playing a supporting role. But that doesn't, again, going back to the Emperor energy, it doesn't mean that you have to discredit other people's role in your life just because you're finally willing to play the main character in your life. You are not a side character in your own life. And I feel like a lot of people feel that and have felt that way since the pandemic started, is that, oh, I'm not the main character in my own life. I'm a side character and the show isn't even about me. No, it is. It is. But you have to believe that. And not in the whole like toxic positivity bullshit. Like, no. you have to own it. There we go. You have to own it.
I love that. I love that. It's pretty wild because while you were talking, I, was shuffling some cards and had a couple crossing influences come out. And I love this because it's the Cancer full moon, and I had the Queen of Cups come out as a crossing influence. Okay, so there's that Cancer energy right now. So this is really about us, sinking into our emotional natures. I think some of us have kind of gotten used to creating some separation from diving into the emotions because we've really come to equate it with a sense of heaviness. but this is asking us to delve into some of our more softer, vulnerable emotions that are around the desire to open ourselves up to love, our desire to give love freely to other people, our desire to nurture, and also to discover what nurtures us at the end of the day, understanding areas where maybe we don't feel that nurturing coming in and beginning to address that. I also see that this is a really important time of, I'm getting like redefining soul contracts. This is my like contractual card, but I feel like it's like, let's draw up a new agreement. Okay. And it might even be something that might be kind of a creative way to work with that Uranus energy that does promise a lot of bless up energy. The thing with that positive influence from Uranus is that it's going to allow us to look at things in a fresh new way and to come to solutions in situations where we thought there was no way to work things out. But the thing is, you can't do it the way you've always done it. It's about finding a new way. It's about striking out, doing something different, doing something unconventional, doing something that has no history behind it. It's striking out and being very daring and saying, let's go there. It's that full energy. The fool is ambitious and hopeful and has optimism and enthusiasm. And yeah, there's some pitfalls, right? You could slide off that cliff, but the thing is the fool is keeping, the eyesight to the heavens and to the hopefulness. And so there's very much this piece coming in very strongly. And so I think it might be kind of a cool exercise in relationship or any kind of close connection where you're trying to work things out with each other. What if you drew up a new soul contract with each other? Like actually write it out. What do you want to create together? And both of you have your input in it. And it might be kind of an interesting experience to see that actually defined, on paper, the way that you want to move forward in this connection. It's something that's just interesting to experiment with. But I do feel that soul contracts are coming up for review. And some of these contracts you're going to close out. There will be people that won't be able to come forward with you into the new cycle. And so when you're doing the release work, there's that principle of bringing in that water element to release with love, to release with compassion. And, I'm this person that I'm like, I don't think that you can force forgiveness at all. And you sometimes hear people say that you cannot heal until you forgive. And I really want to put this out there because I think it's a piece that keeps people stuck in old cycles so much longer than they need to. They feel like, well, I can't heal until I forgive, because it's such talk about dogma, right? It's like, it's such a dogma that's put on society. There's all these rules to what healing looks like. No, there isn't. Everybody's healing path is different. So I feel like in the case where you do have to say goodbye to certain soul contracts, certain people that can't go forward with you on your journey, it's about understanding that sometimes if you dealt with something that was abusive or was very damaging to you, and you don't have these warm fuzzy feelings and you don't feel like you can say I forgive you and you're not there, that's okay. Sometimes forgiveness just looks like letting go. And that's the one thing about water element, right? Water element teaches us how to go with the flow. When does water ever get stuck? When it goes cold, when it freezes, right? When it freezes, then it gets stuck, right? So it's about us not going to that place of going cold where we become cut off, where we become detached. In fact, we're being asked to dive deeper into our emotions. We're being asked to go deeper into the place where we feel all the feels. And from that place, let ourselves have whatever letting go, working with that water element. That may mean letting yourself have a good, long, hard cry. If you've tried to put on a brave face, like wearing that mask, like coming now. But I also see that you're going to want to do this. You're really going to want to purge that like old energy out of your space, because that's how you're going to move into the receptivity where the blessings can come in. Because as long as you're in that cold, contracted place where you're holding on to old grudge and resentment or what this person did to you, not only is your power being fractured because it's being like attached to this old person, place, thing, but you're not in a space where you can let anything new in. So this is just really about allowing yourself to soften. I really recommend working with the lymph system. Do some salt scrubs. You can scrub off that person, you know, that situation when you're in the shower and letting that water run over you, letting it run down the drain. Meditate on water. Notice how it flows. It just keeps flowing, you know. If you look at a waterfall, if the water doesn't cling to the cliff in desperation, like, no, I don't want to go over the edge. It just falls effortlessly. So there's a lot that we can learn from water element right now. A fixed hand is a losing hand, all right? So the more you can have like soft hands, open heart, be in this place of receptivity, even if you went through something really horrible, if you went through something traumatic, just understanding that all things change. There's something on the other side of this for you. And in whatever way, shape, or form you can, calling in the nurturing support you need. Maybe this means going and getting some therapeutic support. Maybe this means, you know, building community with other people who share a commonality with you, but doing what you need to nurture yourself in that place so you can start to soften and understand that not all experiences in life are here to hurt you or harsh. And this will allow you to sort of begin to melt out those places inside of you that have gone cold so you can open up to receive. And a big part of this right now, don't rush in. It's not time to take action yet with Mars in retrograde, right? And it's really not going to be time to take action until we're further into Aquarius season. Then you can start to take the initiative. But we do have, you know, that post shadow for the retrograde. So wait until about, you know, once we're around Valentine's Day on, ironically, you know, once we're around that time, it'd be a good time to bring this energy in. And we'll also have some navigational help from the fixed star Canopus that's in the constellation of Argo, the ship. And it's going to act as a chariot. It's going to help us find our way forward. It's going to help us set forth on a very prosperous journey that promises to lead us to our destiny. All right. So we have all this kind of like kismet, bless up energy in play. But in order for you to really benefit from it, you have to like let go and open up to receive. And that's exemplified with the Four of Swords here. All right. You got to turn it over.
Yeah.
That can be just turning it over to life if you don't have any kind of spiritual faith practice, right? Some of you, this is turning it over to the gods, turning it over to the goddess. This can be turning it over, you know, to Mother Nature herself, you know, whatever works for you, or even to your higher consciousness, you know, just trusting it to your Atman, your higher consciousness to sort it out. This is about also like connecting with your faith, the Four of Swords. So however you pray, and everybody has a way they pray, even if they're an atheist, they have a way that they pray. And that might be just like looking at the sunset is your way of praying and knowing that every time I see the sun go down, I know the sun is going to rise again, you know, and it's sort of like you can give over what you're holding, what you're struggling with to that dying sun for the answers to be born anew, you know, the next dawn. So there's many different ways you can work with this, but you're also being asked to rest a little bit more. Let yourself slow down a little bit, okay? Don't be such a rush because it's like new year, new me, time for me to jump into it, get everything done. You can make your changes incrementally. And I think you're meant to use this time to sort of meditate on your options with the Seven of Cups, so that when you do move forward in Aquarius season, you can do so in a very empowered way, knowing that your sights are set on a direction that's very in alignment with your truth. And we come full circle there.
I was grooving to what you were saying, so I am full encouraged.
It's really interesting because you know how we talked about that between the head and the heart, like juggling between the head and the heart, not knowing where to go. Well, that's where we are right now, okay, as a collective. But if we do this, if we take this time out, if we're not so pressurized moving into the new year, and we create more opportunities for listening, not only is it going to support us in our conversations, because we actually do have Mercury trining Uranus. So this is what's going to bring in synchronicity. It's going to bring in flashes of inspiration. We're going to have solutions coming in out of the blue. Really look at things to turn into kind of like that adventure in Wonderland. There's going to be kind of this magical ethereal current running through life, and you're going to start having a lot of like messages show up for you that are pointing you in the right direction. If you just open up to this and you let all these different, these different signposts come in for you, with that navigational support coming in with that fixed star cannabis, and with this Mercury trine Uranus, you're going to move out of this place of imbalance, not knowing, what direction you should head in. And you're going to turn, this Two of Pentacles where we've been like, I don't know what to do. I could do this. I could do that. It's this kind of like back and forth energy. This is how you find your center. And then you go, fuck it. I'm dropping both of these coins because I'm not going either of those ways. This is kind of like the energy in play. It's very wild card, like anything can happen. So open yourself up to the magic, man. And there will be help with this too, because there is a triangle highlighted by this full moon, and it's known as a single ambivalence pattern, which means that we'll really be able to just like let a lot of stuff just kind of roll off our backs, be like, okay. It allows us to have a little less attachment and more openness. And with that, wild card energy of Uranus in play and being so positively aspected, it actually brings in a really adventurous quality. So it's like full energy in full effect. Okay. It's actually really positive. There's a lot that can come through that's good, but give yourself the space you need. And one final thing I want to bring in just in relation to that astrology with this is make sure that when you're having these kind of challenging communications with people, and they're going to come up, and not everybody you deal with is going to be easy to deal with. Some people are going to be difficult. And if you're working through something that's particularly loaded and where there's a lot of activated feelings, I really recommend that you create sort of guidelines for your communications before you dive into them. One thing you can do, very simple, bringing in a little native tradition. Sometimes people have a peace pipe. You can use any object you want. You could use something like this, a wand, whatever you like. But set some ground rules for difficult communications, especially if you're working with a group of people per se. Maybe there's a group you need to work out things with, and you all need to get on the same page. Whoever holds the mic is the one who has the floor. Nobody interjects, nobody interrupts. Practice more listening. And if you have a conversation, even a one-on-one conversation, and something comes up that like dings you, don't respond. Don't feel the need to get the words in right then. Simply, establish a guideline with one another where it's okay for you to say, okay, I heard you, and there's a lot that I have to kind of like integrate and feel out with this. So I would like to meet up with you later to continue this conversation. And that way you're not closing the door, you're not going cold, but you're providing yourself some breathing room so you can really sit with energy that was stirred up, and you can get centered in your truth in relation to that. And you're not speaking from that reactive place, but a place where you can really respond. You need clarification. If you think, are you saying this? Are you calling me out and saying this? Instead just ask them by simply saying, I heard you say, and I think you're meaning this. Am I correct? It's okay to enter into these dynamics as a beginner. We're all beginners in learning how to communicate in more dynamic ways. And this isn't just what's happening now. This is a big template for moving into the future. We're going to have so much expansion in the area of communication. So something to be very mindful of.
Yes. I got death reversed. And at first I was like, nah, but then I was like, ooh, yeah, yeah. And, you know, I know that a lot of the time, like when people pull the death card, it's like, oh, major transformation. I'm not getting this right now. Yes, there are some people that you are totally going to be going through some major transitions, not heavy. There is a big difference between having a major transition happen and then having a heavy major transition happening. Some major transitions that happen are actually really effing good and move us into a completely different space, the space that we are supposed to be in. And I believe that there are some people that are, and again, I hate to use because I feel like this term gets again thrown around so much within our community, resistance. But yes, resistance there. And when I say resistance, I mean there are some people who says you can't go back. And again, ties into the meditation we're doing tonight. Sometimes going forward means going back and revisiting certain people, places, and things to find out if that is where we are supposed to be. And I also want to tell somebody right now that may be listening, honey, you're missing the whole fucking point. You are missing the whole point because you are so hyper focused on not wanting to look a certain way. Who gives a shit? This moves into, are these people living your life? Are they the ones living it or are you living it? We have the 3 F's. If they fucking financing or feeding you, it is none of their business. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You know, I think it would be really cool if we got like an overarching theme card, each of us,
yes.
for the collective,
Let's
just
do it.
in general for this cycle. So I'm going to use the Halloween oracle for this.
Ooh.
Because, you know, we are entering the new year, but I'm invoking a little bit of that Samhain, which is New Year energy, just kind of tying it in. And I think it'd be kind of nice to use this deck. So I'm just going to see one card for the collective. For overarching theme for this lunar cycle that we're moving through, that is going to be in place through the 21st, at which point we have a new moon in Aquarius coming in. Overarching theme for the collective for this lunar cycle. Spirit, what do you want us to know?
Okay.
If you got yours first, you can go for it. Speak.
Okay. The magician.
Ah! I love it.
So, again, the best definition of witchcraft, of metaphysics, of walking this path that is not Christian. It's not. It's not. Sorry. Is we create something out of nothing. What do you want to create out of your nothing? I'll put it in terms for people that might not understand. If you have a bunch of ingredients in your household and you need to eat or you need to feed or need to do something, you got to figure out what to make. So you got a bunch of ingredients within yourself. I need you to take inventory. I need you to take stock and figure out what you can do from something from nothing. Thank you.
It's so interesting because just the theme that's coming out here, I feel like it's highlighting what we really need to address, like the stuff that we need to look at that maybe we don't want to look at. I'm going to go ahead and just follow this thread a little bit because I feel like it's significant. So what flew out of the deck was ghost, regret, regret. Okay. And to me, this is really bringing hungry ghost energy. You know, those regrets, the things that we wish that we would have said or we would have done that we didn't. And so rather than actually just like doing the damn thing, we sit and pine over it. We brood over it. We let it have free rent in our consciousness. And it's constantly taking up all this creative space in our consciousness. And we don't move forward. We stay locked in this place where we're kind of haunting our own lives. Okay. So with this positive Mercury sextile Uranus energy, it's sort of asking us to just be a little daring. And the good thing about the beneficial aspects going on with Uranus during this lunar cycle is it will be giving you courage. You know, it's going to be very bolstering to the self-esteem. It will allow you to be a little daring. So maybe you are scared to reach out and call that person, or maybe you are afraid to head in a new direction in your career, or maybe you are afraid to let a part of yourself be seen that you've been keeping hidden for a long time with that mask energy coming in. And this is saying break from the pack, man. Because sometimes, you know, the wolves, they go off on their own, right? They can be the lone wolf for a while. And so it's sort of like, don't live in regret, all right? Because even if you had things kind of head south, it's one of these things where at some point, that's exactly what you wanted to do, all right? And so it's just really an acknowledgement, a reflection of, okay, that was where I was at then, but now I've grown and I have a new understanding. I kind of regret taking that action. I regret making this choice. It's okay. You can do something about that. If you're putting your dreams on hold and you regret that you haven't gone off and, you know, went on that trip around the world, or that you have, you know, start taking some steps no matter how they are. Even if you don't have the money for your trip over, you know, throughout Europe, go ahead and start like doing research. Allow yourself to start dreaming about it, really dreaming about it, as if you were planning your trip, and open up to the energy. If there is something that you said that you regret saying, you know, have the courage to pick up the phone or reach out, you know, send that person a message, and just, you know, don't put anything on them. Don't require them to give you anything back in return. Just say, I really felt bad about what I said, and I want to make it right. You know, this is something that stayed in my space for a long time. This is also about stop putting your life on hold, you know, because you don't know how long you got here. So start living without regrets, and you can never be in a place of regret as long as you're following your heart and you're really going where your soul is tugging you down. And the thing that's really getting in the way here is two things. It's so significant. All this like ghost graveyard energy, all this stuff related to what should be done and dusted. Like you should already be done with this. But it's more like you're keeping the dead alive, like allowing it to haunt you in this way. We got zombie control. Okay. Again, such a strong message of let go. You gotta let it go. And if there is something you regret and there is something you can do about it, then do it. And in the act of doing it, you are letting it go. Because a lot of what is holding you back is this graveyard energy, unnecessary fear. And what is it about fear? We're in this process of dissolving everything inside of us that is unlike love, so we can be in a place where we can actually receive what wants to come in for us. And fear is the antithesis of love. So it's really about moving through that fear. How do you move through that fear? There's only one way. Cowabunga, man. You have to take the lead. You have to go through it. There is no other way. And you can sit, you can nurse regret all you want. And all you're doing is keeping yourself stuck. But look, if you have the courage to do this, if you move beyond this, look what we got. Joy. Joy. Look at that release with those leaves falling away. And there's this beautiful dance, this beautiful joy, this beautiful celebration that comes in the letting go. And it says, rejoicing in the present, right? It's not about jumping ahead to the future and where we're not at already and thinking how far behind we are. It's not about thinking about what went wrong in the past, what we regret. It's really about being present with what is and looking for the sweetness that's there in the present. And it's a little trick. As long as you are in the present moment, there really is no way that you can suffer because the moment is always flowing. It's always changing. It's always evolving. And I just want to get a top of the deck energy. Look at this, how beautiful with the energy coming in. Scrying. This is about aligning with your intuition, all right? Your intuition to guide you forward with this wolf moon energy, picking up the scent of the trail, listening to where the energy is pulling you. And some of you who are developing your psychic awareness, you might want to experiment with some scrying by scrying into water, working with that water element. And I just want to do a cut of the deck energy here. Look at this. We got spider.
Ooh.
And this is community and web weaving, which is exactly what we're doing here tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're forming threads of connection. We're weaving a new dream. I just got Dream Weaver coming in. So I feel like there's a bit of that. It's like a bit of a channeled song with a message.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. We're coming with a new way forward. And what do we got on the other side of that? Skull of light. So out of the deaths, out of the endings comes what? Illumination. And illumination provides the new way forward. So, I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. I'm ready to do the work,
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. Bring it on, man. I'm ready for it.
As am I.
Should we do the meditation and everything?
Yes.
I want to call in some Reiki first, just to get everybody in the receptive space.
Yeah.
Let me write down the timestamp for this because I got a little sloppy with some of my timestamps. And this way, at least I can have this down, and it'll make it easier for me to search for the other timestamps. Okay. This is for the Reiki. So I'm going to do Reiki. Reiki is basically ki, okay? It's just like prana or universal life force energy. It amplifies the healing energy in your body. The symbols that I'm working with, I've gone through all 3 levels of attunement. So we're going to be bringing in healing energy that aligns us with our truth, okay? Aligns us with spirit or higher consciousness, however we relate to that. Also calling in healing energy for the past, the present, and the future, and calling in emotional healing. And then I'm bringing in an amplifying energy to just really like boost it up, right? Super turbocharge power it. So if you are not comfortable with receiving Reiki, a big important piece of receiving Reiki is that you actually want to receive it. I can only send it to you with your permission. So I am asking you that if you do not want to receive Reiki, just take a little break. You're not going to go very long, but I do want to call in this energy for the collective because I think it will really help hold a healing space around the beautiful meditation that Missy is going to bring in. All right. Okay, so just relax, maybe close your eyes if you want to. Take some deep breaths. Reconnect with your root that you opened up with. Make sure your body is in a nice receptive posture, okay? No crossed arms, no crossed legs, no clenched fists. Just let those palms be soft and open. Let your chest open, heart high and up so you can receive. I'm just going to call in this energy for you. I'm just smoothing out any places where the energy is stuck, pulling any energy out of your auric field that is not your own. So you can have your own space back. Take some nice deep breaths. Please work with the exhalation to really, flow that energy, the old energy out of your space. I want you to take a moment to focus on whatever you feel is holding you back in your life, whatever has held you down, whatever has made you feel a sense of being stuck. And just bring it forward right now. Just bring it up into your heart center. And just have a little bit of an internal communication with this block. And let it know that you're ready to release it. You're ready to let it go. Affirm to yourself that you're ready to receive. You're ready to have new experiences. You're ready to open up your mind to new ways forward, new ways of seeing situations. And even if you have a hard time believing it right now, just tell yourself, I am ready to receive. I am open and I'm ready to receive. I want you to gather that energy up in your heart center like an orb. And please take a deep breath, envisioning that breath coming right into your heart center. And when you're ready to let go, let it out forcefully. And just smoothing in, bringing in some comforting energy, clearing out all blockages to you being able to access your intuition and the guidance that wants to come in for you, whether you view that as coming in from goddess or God or gods or nature itself, wolf totem, the Pathfinder to help you find your path ahead, or even just your higher consciousness. Okay. And just stay in this space. Keep yourself in this internal focus. And I'm going to now let Lizzie take the floor and guide you in one of her wonderful meditations.
As I mentioned at the beginning, we are going to be working with the deity. If that's not something you're comfortable with, thank you and step away. I feel like we're in a really good space right now. Normally, I would count us down But what I'd like you to do, since you're already centered, since we're already in the space, is I want you to see yourself standing in a white room. And in your dominant hand, you find yourself holding a green piece of chalk. Go to whichever wall you feel guided to, and I want you to draw a door. This door can be as simple or elaborate as you choose. I'm going to give you a moment now to draw your door. Once you are comfortable with your door, I want you to take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we are going to open our door. We find ourselves standing on the top of a snowy mountain. And even though it is covered with snow, it is not cold. We are actually quite comfortable. As we move through the snow, we find it radiating warmth. Curious, we explore and find ourselves standing near the chasm of the volcano of Mount Etna. It is said this is where Hades opened the underworld to allow his bride to enter and seek him out. See the lava flowing down the snowy banks, filling the craters as it's both intensely hot and cold at the same time. I want you to see beautiful goddess Persephone walking out of the chasm of Mount Etna. She wears a crown of flowers and skulls. She wears the most beautiful gowns of gold, green, red, and black that you have ever seen. You see Cerberus guarding the entrance. Persephone comes to you and tells you that she wants you to walk with her. She wants to introduce you to someone that you know very well. You start walking down the mountain, and as you're walking down the mountain, flowing with the lava, you notice you come into clearing, which is alive and abundant. And there are flowers and trees full bloom. As you come into the clearing, I want you to see a version of yourself that didn't think we'd get to where we are now. I want you to see that version of yourself as vividly as you see the goddess standing next to you. I want you to take a moment now and show that version of yourself, who we are now. Persephone hates to interrupt, but this was just a short meeting. But I want you to remember that this space is always available for you to access. And if you need to come back and have a longer conversation, you will be allowed to do so. But for now, I want you to embrace that version of yourself and bid them farewell, because we're not that person anymore. And as Persephone becomes Corey and then becomes Persephone again, you know that change and renewal is just a part of the process. And that holding on to this version of ourself won't do us any more favors. Bid them farewell, take Persephone's hand, and travel back up the mountain. I also want you to notice if you had any creatures come out. You are in the forest after all, and there is life even in the winter, as Persephone reminds you. She walks you back to your door. She kisses you on your brow, renewing your third eye and reopening it. Say goodbye to Cerberus, because he'll get jealous if you don't. And maybe give him a head scratch if you want, because he's a puppy, even though he's a big dog. And I want you to go back to your door. We're going to step through our door and back into the white room. We are not going to be erasing this door today, because I want you to be able to access it. Because you may have other versions of yourself that you need to go back and revisit. I want you to tuck that piece of chalk wherever you can, whether it be in your pocket or your boobie. And I want you to slowly come back into your body. I want you to open and close your fists. I want you to rotate your ankles, your neck, maybe roll your shoulders. And remember that you are a person and you have a body. And maybe open your eyes and come back. Welcome back.
I love that.
I kept that door open because I had a few different versions peeking out from behind some of the trees. So the girl's gonna need to go back there and talk to some people. Um, but I hope that you were able to meet yourself.
I think it's beneficial to leave it open too, because, during this time of going through review, oh, we lost Lizzie. She went out the door. During this time of review, it'll be really good to revisit that and come back into that space. So, we'll see if Lizzie comes back in. We are in Mercury retrograde, so sometimes there can be technical difficulties, but just wanted to kind of close everything out with all of you and say thank you so much for showing up, and all of you who brought your voices into the conversation. Those of you who catch the replay, please feel free to go ahead and let's see. I don't know. I see like she trying to get back in.
It's me. Hello. I've been so conscious not to do it because near the chat button is the leave button on my cell phone. And so this whole time I've been like, ooh, be careful, ooh, be careful, ooh, be careful. And sure enough, hey, that's okay. It wouldn't be a Mercury retrograde without some type of technological, goof. And if that's the biggest thing that happens to me all Mercury retrograde, I'm doing good.
You just needed to step out for a bit. That's all.
I did. I was like, yeah, no. Gonna take a step back, and it's cool. So it's one of the things is that Mercury is very closely related to the underworld and to Persephone. He was the messenger. He almost got his head bit off when he was like, "Hey, you got to come back." And he is one of the very few gods of Olympus that can come and go in both places without, so I feel like he was like, enough for not having me a part of this. And I'm like, hey, dude, he was like, Cerberus, really? Yeah, sorry. Who showed up? Who showed up? Sorry, maybe you should have gotten here faster, my friend.
I also really liked that meditation you brought in because I feel like it's something that could be creatively adapted as well if there's certain people that you're hanging on to in your space and for whatever reason it's really not appropriate for you to reconnect with them, and you do have some regrets that you're holding on to or something you need to speak to. I could see how you could work with that Persephone energy to not only make amends to that part of you that was in that situation, but also to release that individual and kind of just like create that distance, create that that letting go and that release for yourself. For those of you who have situations where it's not safe for you to bring that person into your sphere, and yet you still have a need for closure. So I think that can be quite potent to work with. And I really liked that energy. I think it was um, a very supportive practice, and I love that you kept it open and gave people an opportunity to revisit it. Because I think a lot of this stuff is really going to come up over this cycle. Just for those who do the work and they get to a place where they really feel like, okay, I'm done and I'm ready to shut that door completely. How do you recommend that they close that door in the future so they can really release the whole healing process around that, Lizzie?
Normally, I have you go back through the door and it turns back into your chalk drawing. And with your dominant hand, just erase it and make it go away. You could also paint over it if you wanted to. You are in an all white room, so if you wanted to magic yourself a lovely paintbrush with some paint and paint over it, or some soap and a bucket, you can do that too. But normally I just erase it with my hand and make it go away, and then that's it.
I love it. I think that's beautiful. What a beautiful meditation to be able to carry forward during this
Mm-hmm,
cycle, and we all share
mm-hmm,
that space together. And then we're all kind of as a community, we're holding that space together and supporting one another and stepping into that growing light, stepping into the sweetness of the promise of the bloom on the other side of the thorns that will come in spring,
mm-hmm,
right in alignment with that
mm-hmm,
Persephone journey and rising up his core. And yeah, and if you want to help call in that light, bring in a
mm-hmm.
candle, and it's
Yep,
okay. If you're not
yep,
able to get a candle for a few days, that's okay. Just have a candle going during this lunar cycle, and we'll
mm-hmm,
all build that light together and hold that space together. So,
yep.
thank you so much to all of you
Oh,
who dropped
yes,
in, who
yes,
contributed to the conversation, who spent this
yeah.
time with us.
There's quite a
I
few
see a
people here
lot of you
tonight.
wrote it out. They wrote it
Yeah,
out the whole time. So,
yeah.
um, thank you so much. Time is so valuable. So
Mm-hmm.
we really appreciate you
We
choosing to
do.
spend your time with us and to create this space with
Mm-hmm,
us.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
blessings as you move through this cycle and step into
Yes.
your new chapters. And may you have the courage to go where your heart leads you. And it promises to bring you beautiful things.
Love you all.
Take care. Blessings.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.